today we are going to learn small signal operation and models of the subject analog circuits. This is lecture 4. So, in this class I will discuss small signal operation and small signal model. So, starting with the basics of small signal. So, what is this small signal? A small signal is basically your input AC signal, that is your small signal. So, we know that in amplifier, firstly obviously if we are using the designing the amplifier using BJT, then your BJT should be in active region, fine, and we need to do the biasing properly. The operating point, it should be in the middle of the active region, that I had discussed in the last class, that is the lecture 3 class, fine. And this amplifier basically amplifies the input AC signal that is coming from the sensor and transducer, fine, that is your small signal. So, in small signal modeling, what we do, we calculate the input resistance, output resistance, voltage gain and other parameters. So, this small signal is very important concept in analog circuit, because we deal with the small signal, we deal with the AC signal, that is your main input signal that is to be amplified. So, there are some standard notations. So, the notation is if it is written capital V, capital B, capital E. So, this is your DC quantity, this is your DC bias voltage, and if it is small v, small b, small e, then this is your input AC signal, and the summation of VB and VB, that is the summation of capital V, capital B, capital E plus small v, small b, small e, that is equal to small v, capital B, capital E. So, this is the standard notation, it is not mandatory that you should follow it, but this is a notation which I am going to use throughout the class. So, this capital V, capital B, capital E, it is your DC bias voltage, small v, small b, small e, this is the input AC signal that is to be amplified, and this input signal AC signal, it is basically superimposed on this DC bias voltage, and the summation of these two voltages is small v, capital B, capital E, fine. So, this small v, small b, small e, that is the input AC signal, this is basically your small signal, and we are going to deal with this small signal. So, starting with this basic circuit of common emitter amplifier. So, this is small v, small b, small e, this is capital V, capital B, capital E, this is your DC bias voltage, this is your DC quantity, this is your AC quantity, fine. And since when we do the small signal analysis, then we remove the DC sources. Removal means we will short circuit the voltage source and open circuit the current source, and these equations are for DC voltages and current. So, capital I, capital C, again capital I, capital C, this is your DC collector current, small I, small c, that is your AC collector current, and the summation of capital I, capital C and small I, small c, it is small I, capital C, fine. So, this is the notation, you should be careful about it, about these notations, fine. So, this is your DC collector current, this is your DC emitter current, this is your DC base current, this is your DC collector to emitter voltage. So, VC you can get simply by applying the KVL, you can get VCC minus ICRC minus VC, and here VC is equal to VCC minus ICRC, simple, fine. So, these are the DC voltages in current equation. You all are aware with it, IC that is equal to IS, that is the reverse saturation current, e to the power VB upon VT. VB is the DC base to emitter voltage, VT is the thermal voltage, alpha and beta are the current gain in common base and common emitter configuration. Now, see, now here we are going to actually calculate the transconductance of BJT. So, as I have already discussed, small v, capital B, capital E, it is the summation of the DC quantity and AC quantity. This is your DC quantity, this is your AC quantity. So, small I capital C, it can be written as Is e to the power small v capital B capital E. This one is this, fine. And what is small v capital B capital E? It is a summation of DC plus AC. Now, we can segregate these two terms, then we will get this first term and the second term. So, you can see that this first term is your, it is representing the DC quantity, because in e to the power there is a capital V capital B capital E. So, it can be written as, capital I capital C, fine. So, from here just focus on this equation, small I capital C, that is capital I capital C. This capital I capital C is your DC collector current, capital I capital C is your DC collector current, e to the power small v small b small e upon V t, small v small b small e. This is your input AC signal and V t is the thermal voltage. Now, since V b is very small, this input AC signal, the magnitude is very small, and if you expand this e to the power V b upon V t term, then higher order terms can be neglected, because this small v small b small e, that is the input AC signal, that is very small. So, higher order terms can be neglected. So, we can write it like this. Further, you can multiply this capital I capital C in the bracket. So, it will be this, fine. So, here we have assumed that this small v small b small e, that is the input AC signal, it is very small. This is called small signal approximation. Normally, we do this approximation when the signal value, when the magnitude of the signal is less than 10 millivolt. If it is less than 10 millivolt, then that signal is considered as the small signal, and the approximation is called small signal approximation. So, from previous equation we can easily get this small I small c, this small I small c is the AC collector current, that is equal to capital I capital C upon V t, and this capital I capital C upon V t, it is called your transconductance Gm. So, again I repeat, this capital I capital C is your DC collector current and this V t is your thermal voltage, this is your thermal voltage. So, we can write this equation, AC collector current, that is Gm into Vb, this Gm is the transconductance, small v small b small e, that is the input AC signal. So, we can see that your Gm is directly proportional to the DC collector current. So, if we increase the value of the DC collector current, then the transconductance of the BJT will increase. So, these equations are very important and we will use these equations in the further derivations. So, we can also calculate the Gm with the help of graphical analysis. So, when we draw the graph between collector current versus base to emitter voltage, and when we set the Q point in the middle, then the slope of this graph, that is called Gm, and Gm we define it rate of change of collector current with respect to rate of change of base to emitter voltage. So, this is the graphical determination, you can do it, you can design the circuit on the breadboard and you can draw this graph on the graph paper, then you can calculate the slope. This is the graphical determination. If we want to calculate it with the help of formula, then it is a straightforward collector current IC upon Vt. Next one is, now we have to calculate two important terms in BJT, that is, this is your BJT. Now, see here, there is some internal resistance at the base terminal and at the emitter terminal. When we see the resistance at the base, that resistance is called R pi. When we see the resistance at the emitter end, that resistance is called Re. Firstly, we are going to find out the value of R pi and Re, and then we will derive the relation between R pi and Re, fine. So, starting with the calculation of the input resistance at the base. So, again I repeat, R pi and Re are the internal resistances. So, this is small I capital B, that is the total base current, that is equal to the total collector current upon beta. Total collector current, it will be written as this one. So, I have already discussed this equation at the starting of this class, you can refer, you can directly put that equation here. So, we can say that your total base current is equal to DC base current plus base current due to AC signal, fine. So, I b is equal to I c by beta. So, this small I small b term we can write it like this. This is your this term, this one is your small I small b, fine. Now, here I c upon V t, we have calculated it, I c upon V t, that is G m. So, I b is equal to G m by beta into V b. So, what will be the resistance at the base terminal? It will be the base to emitter voltage upon base current. So, what will be the value? R pi will be V b upon I b, that is equal to beta upon G m. Further, you can write G m is equal to I c upon V t. Then what will be the equation? It will be beta into V t by I c, and I c by beta, that is I b. So, we can express R pi, that is in terms of beta, that is beta upon G m. We can also express R pi in terms of V t, thermal voltage upon the DC base current, fine. So, these are the two equations for R pi, that is very important, we will use it in future. So, this R pi is basically the small signal input resistance between base and emitter looking into the base, and when we look into the emitter, then the resistance is called R e, then the resistance is called small r small e. So, again the same concept, small I capital E total emitter current is equal to the summation of the DC emitter current and AC emitter current. So, we know the relation I is equal to I c by alpha, this I c is the total collector current, that is the summation of the DC collector current plus AC. So, the total is equal to DC plus AC, total is equal to DC plus AC. So, again we will segregate the AC quantity, and after segregating it we will get this equation. Then what will be the value of R e, that is the resistance at the emitter terminal? It will be small v small b small e upon I e. So, from here we can calculate it, R e is equal to V b upon I e, then from the previous equation we will get V t upon I e. Now, you can write G m is equal to I c upon V t. So, what will be the value of V t here? V t will be I c by G m, just put V t is equal to I c by G m here, then what we will get? It will be your I c by G m into I e, and we know that I c by I is I c collector current upon emitter current, that is alpha. So, finally, we get R e is equal to alpha by G m, and we know that this alpha value, the maximum value is 1, normally it is 0.99, 0.98, it is very close to 1. So, we can approximately write it 1 by G m. So, R e is equal to 1 by G m. So, this R e is the internal resistance at the emitter terminal, it is the small signal resistance seen between base and emitter and looking into the emitter, Next one is the relationship between R e and R pi, simple mathematics. We know the value of V b, from here we can get the relation between R pi and R e. Now, what is I e upon I b? The relation between I e and I b is, this is your beta plus 1. So, there are few basic relations, we should remember that. One is your emitter current is equal to base current plus collector current, fine. Another one is beta is equal to alpha upon 1 minus alpha. Another one is I c is equal to beta I b, and I c is equal to alpha I e. So, these are the very basic relation. If you just remember these relations, you can easily do these calculations, fine. So, after this calculation we get the relation between R pi and R e, that is equal to beta plus 1 times of R e. R pi is beta plus 1 times R e. It means that if we know the resistance at the emitter terminal, then the resistance at the base terminal, it will be the beta plus 1 times. This is also called resistance reflection rule, resistance reflection rule. So, the point is that if we know the resistance at the emitter terminal, then what will be the resistance at the base terminal? It will be beta plus 1 times of emitter resistance, that is the relationship between R e and R pi. So, similarly, we can calculate the value of the voltage gain here. So, voltage gain equation is very clear. If you draw the circuit, simple, this is RC, this is VCC, fine. So, your if you apply the KVL in this particular loop, then it will be VCC minus this is your total collector current small I capital C into RC minus small v capital C capital E is equal to 0, fine. So, from here you can get the value of VC, and further this small I capital C, it is the total collector current, it will be the summation of the DC collector current plus AC collector current, fine. So, from here just separate the DC component and the AC component. So, the AC component is minus IC into RC. So, your VC small v small c small e, that is minus IC into RC. So, here do not be confused, this term small v capital C capital E, it is the total collector to emitter voltage, it is the total collector to emitter voltage, it is a summation of DC plus AC, and your small v small c small e, small v small c small e, it is the AC quantity. That is why in AC quantity, that is small v small c small e, this one, that is equal to the AC collector current into collector resistance RC, and we know that small I small c value is Gm into Vb, fine. So, we can rearrange this term minus Gm into RC into Vb, and what is the voltage gain? Voltage gain is equal to output voltage upon input voltage. The output voltage is collector to emitter voltage, input voltage is base to emitter voltage. So, the voltage gain will be Vc upon Vb. So, from here we are getting minus Gm into RC, that is the voltage gain. So, this minus sign represents the inverting structure of the amplifier. So, common emitter amplifier is the inverting amplifier, and this minus sign, it represents that the output is 180 degree out of phase with input, output is 180 degree out of phase with input, fine. So, this is the voltage gain calculation, this is an important relation minus Gm into RC. Next one is small signal model. So, whatever we have studied are the small signal parameters. Small signal parameters we have studied R pi and Re, fine. So, there are two small signal model, one is hybrid pi model and another one is T model. So, it is called pi model because of its shape, fine. So, this is your base terminal, this is collector terminal, this is your emitter terminal. So, we know that this internal resistance R pi, that is at the base terminal, it is in between base and emitter, and this is your small v small b small e base to emitter voltage, and at the output side there is a dependent source, that is voltage dependent current source. So, your collector current actually depends upon the input voltage Vb, that is why we have represented it with the help of dependent source. We have represented it with the help of dependent source. Your collector current IC, it is depending upon input voltage, it is quite clear. If you change Vb base to emitter voltage, your collector current will change. So, how we represent it? We represent it with the help of dependent source, simple network analysis, and this dependent source is your voltage dependent current source, fine. Similarly, we can write Gm Vb, that is equal to beta Ib. If we are writing beta Ib, then it is called current dependent current source, and your Gm Vb is equal to beta Ib, both are same, you can see it. Vb can be written as Ib into R pi, there is no issue, you can see that the voltage drop across R pi is Vb. So, Vb will be R pi into base current Ib, this is your base current Ib, fine. So, Ib into R pi. So, Gm into R pi, what is Gm into R pi? We have calculated it, R pi is equal to beta upon Gm, fine. So, R pi into Gm, Gm into R pi, that is beta. So, we can get Gm Vb is equal to beta Ib. This is the hybrid pi model. See, we draw this small signal model of analog circuit to calculate the different parameters like input resistance, output resistance, voltage gain, current gain, and we will do it in further classes, fine. That is why we need to understand this model. With the help of these models, it is very convenient, it is very easy to calculate the different parameters, it is easy to calculate, that is why we are studying this model. We draw this model of particular analog circuit, for which we need some values, we need to calculate some values like input resistance, output resistance, voltage gain, current gain, fine. Another small signal model is the T model. T model, it is called T model because of its shape. In T model we represent the emitter resistance. See, if we have been given any circuit, any amplifier circuit, we can draw hybrid pi model also. For that circuit we can draw the T model also, but sometimes hybrid pi model is more convenient, sometimes T model is more convenient. So, T model is convenient when there is a resistance at the emitter terminal. If there is a resistance at the emitter terminal, if the resistance is connected at the emitter terminal, then it is convenient to draw the T model. Although we can draw the hybrid pi model, but it will be easier if we draw the T model. So, we need to understand hybrid pi and T both models, and we will explore these two models in common emitter amplifier, common base, common collector amplifiers. So, in T model you can see that there is a emitter resistance Re that is connected in between base and emitter, and again there is a voltage dependent current source, and again this GMVB is equal to alpha IE. So, both the models are same, both the structures are same, just the difference is here it is voltage dependent current source, here it is a current dependent current source, and GMVB, VB we can write IE into Re, that is very clear. This VB is equal to the current flowing through Re resistance, that is IE. So, IE into Re is equal to VB. So, GM into Re, that is alpha, we know that we have calculated Re, that is alpha by GM. So, what will be the value of GM into Re? It is alpha. So, both are same, GM VB is equal to alpha IE, both are same, fine. So, this is the T model. So, why we need to understand a small signal operation and model? Because the signal which we are applying at the input of the amplifier, that is the AC signal, that is to be amplified, that is your small signal. If we have to deal with the small signal, then we need to draw the small signal model. In a small signal model we can draw the hybrid pi model or we can draw the T model depending upon the situation. If there is a resistance connected at the emitter terminal, so it is easier to draw the T model. And why we need to draw these models? We draw these models to calculate the different parameters of that amplifier, like input resistance, output resistance, voltage gain, etc. So, we need to understand these models very carefully. Although after practicing many circuits, you can directly perform the small signal analysis on the circuits. For example, if an amplifier circuit is given to you, and if it is said that you have to calculate the voltage gain of this circuit, you have to calculate the voltage gain of this circuit, then what you have to do? You firstly you have to draw the small signal model and you will do the calculations for that. And how you draw the small signal model? A small signal means that your input AC signal, we are dealing with AC signal, fine. So, to draw the small signal model, firstly remove the DC sources. So, voltage source will be short circuited and current source will be open circuited, fine. And after removing the DC sources, redraw the circuit. When you redraw that circuit, you can redraw that circuit in the form of hybrid pi or T, fine, just for convenience. If you draw these models then calculate, then it is easier to understand, but after practicing you can directly perform that small signal analysis on the circuit, directly you can perform that, fine. So, in this particular class what we have done, firstly we have understood that what is this capital I capital C. Again I repeat, this capital I capital C is your DC quantity, DC collector current, small I small c is the AC collector current, fine, and the summation of these two currents is small I capital C. Similarly, in the voltage term, if it is capital V capital B capital E, it is your DC base to emitter voltage. If it is small v small b small e, it is your AC base to emitter voltage, and the summation of both is small v capital B capital E. So, see, when we do the DC biasing, then we ignore the AC signal, fine, then we ignore the AC quantity, that we had done in the last class in lecture 3. In lecture 3 I had discussed that biasing circuits. In biasing circuits, I have discussed the operating point, that is the DC bias point. So, I had discussed about only DC quantities in the last class. In today's class, that is the all about small signal operation and model, we are focusing on AC signal, that is the input AC signal. But ultimately when you design any amplifier, then your DC bias voltage is there, and of course, it will be there to operate the transistor properly, to make sure that your BJT is in active region, fine. That is your DC quantity, that is your DC bias voltage that is needed. If we design any circuit, then obviously in any electronic circuit we need some DC battery, fine. But the signal which is to be amplified, that is AC, that input AC signal that is to be amplified, it is superimposed on that DC bias voltage. And when this input AC signal is superimposed, then we have to make sure the DC operating point should not shift from the middle of the active region. To make sure it, what we do? We do the biasing, that is your DC biasing. DC biasing is important in amplifiers to make sure that your operating point, it is in the middle of the active region. Once you have ensured that your operating point, it is in the middle of the active region, then you apply your AC signal, input AC signal, and to understand that the signal which we have applied, that is the input AC signal, what is the characteristic, by how much quantity it is getting amplified. For that we need to calculate the voltage gain, for that we need to do the small signal analysis. So, in amplifier circuits, we need to do this small signal analysis to understand that for that particular amplifier, what is the gain, what is the input resistance, what is the output resistance, fine. So, in further classes we will explore this small signal model, hybrid pi model and T model. So, this is the reference. Thank you.